to the Empower Me Show with Pam Bright. This show is all about honoring you as a spiritual being having a human experience. You are here for a reason, and it's no mistake that you are here on Earth right now. Spirit has guided you to this very moment in time, so you could hear the messages Pam is about to share with you. She is a multidimensional healer, light language channel, transformation coach, wife and mother, committed to helping you discover the tools and practices to empower you to live the best life you can. You get to choose the spirit path you take. You can connect to the spiritual guidance already all around you. Get ready to live a fully empowered life. This is the Empower Me Show.
Welcome back to another episode of the Empower Me Show. My name is Pam Bright, and I am your hostess for this program. And let's just get something straight right now, okay? The energies are wackadoodle right now. So if you are listening to this broadcast, then you are ready to have your world rocked in the best way with the energies of my special guest, Kelly Martin, and I, Pam Bright, as your host for this program. We're both psychics. We both work with the energies of the universe, and we both have access to those beings of light and love that you are connected to and I am connected to. We have individual expressions that come in for each of us to work with us, but know that you are here for a reason and your life is up to you. So let's take a ride, shall we? So, Kelly, thank you for being here on this program. I'm so glad that you're here. And before we get going, we're actually going to ground, guys, because something just happened before we started airing that tells me that energetically we need a little help right now. So we are going to call in our guides, teachers, and angels to be with us. We're going to ask Mama Gaia, the Earth Mother, to assist us. And we're going to ask the guardians of the galaxies to come in, those universal beings that love us so much, to come in and hold the space that we're going to work within today so that we can have a really great show. We can get lots and lots of insights. We can connect with our loved ones and our beautiful pets and animals of the world, because we do have our modern day Dr. Doolittle, as I call her, right here to assist us with that. So if you're in a position where you can close your eyes, go ahead and do that. If you need to keep awake and stay focused on what you're doing, please be safe and do that. But know that my transmission through my voice will reach you exactly as it needs to. Let's start with a few deep breaths. Maybe making a little sound. Ooh. And as you connect in with your breath, know that you are absolutely in the right place right now. And I'm just going to call in my guidance now. And I'm going to use some bright language for that. Bright is my last name, so it is bright language, which is the light of the universe and the languages of the universe coming in. Elata setarapa neki supa papa chete te sunu mamakia tapapapap neki tapata kisanamakia. Ekolata te sanamakia tatatata ne che sunu papa ndi sambapapa. Thank you for being here. We ask the Earth Mother to come in now and assist us along with the dragons because they work together. Ela casa de ki mata ki na maki tapapapa ne tut ut utaki tapakai te kwa. Esukupa sheta taishina mai siti ki papai te kapa. Ego gondo ba digs da ba neku papa de ki su baba ichiraba andosta. Eko la tare hishira ba istomama ne ki baba. Neia. And so we ask you to bring your guides, teachers, and angels in now. Oleta saradike ba niki te papai ki babai chera ba undu sut ambatiki pa mne su papagia. O setasi nasatikia. Ooh. All right, so this vortex is now open and available to you. So, Kelly, welcome to the show. I'm so glad you're here.
Hi, Pam. Thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here. I keep getting this confirmation I'm on this new path and new journey and stepping forward into my true self. And I'm following the path that my guides want me to. And just in the last week, I've stepped back and let them take over and let go of expectations. And as soon as I've done that, things are kind of flowing in to place. It's a beautiful thing. And I just said that's a little orb outside
I
my
love
window.
it. I love that. That's so perfect. So, tell us a little bit about your background with where you came from, how you started getting that there might be something more to you than just your 3D existence, your, daily life, that there was some kind of connection with the animal world. How did that all come together into a nice little package? And we just froze again. Let's try to move the energy, Menahui, so that Kelly can come back. Elo tu 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 neta ite ite te tu ada yesu baba ye. Onesa na ye ua. So we're going to bring Kelly back. No se na mana ye kia tu tu asa na mama ye ai. All right, so we're just going to keep going, guys, because the energies are very strong here. And we're going to see, going to give her a little
Okay.
moment. There she is. She's back. All right, so you were going to tell us about your experience as a child, your experience from where you came from, and how in the world did you start realizing that you and the animals were connected?
Well, it's kind of a long story, but I'll try to shorten it best I can. I grew up in Ohio, Dayton, Ohio, to be precise, and I grew up in a more, I guess you would say, traditional family, but they were very, I call them muggles. I use a lot of Harry Potter terms because it's just easier. And they were into this stuff, but I was always the weird kid. I always felt like I didn't quite fit in. I loved animals my entire life. Animals were drawn to me. I watched Animal Planet. I learned everything I could about animals. Animals were always there for me when I needed them. I also felt very drawn to the fantasy realm, like fairies and so forth. And growing up, I went to church and all that stuff, like most Midwest kids, and I never quite fit in. I mean, I did it just as a distraction. Both my parents were alcoholics, and that was my escape. But then I started going to Bible study, and a lot of stuff they were saying just didn't quite fit for what I felt like. And then I started exploring other modalities and other religions, and I left and became more of a pagan type of traditions, and that felt more at ease. But I still was kind of trying to find my niche in the world. And then I started going to intuitive fairs in Ohio, and they kept saying, Kelly, you're very gifted. And they'd say, you know things about animals and you know things. And at the time I said, yeah, maybe, but I wasn't quite there. And I'm the other kid. I'm the black sheep of my family. So I was like, no, I'm not that special. But then, a year or so after I started going to those things, my dad passed away. And then I was in some not so great relationships, and I fell into a nasty depression. And then my mom passed away. And right at that time, I kept feeling this, and I was the reason she was found. I kept feeling she had passed. And I made the calls and stuff, and she was found. And that's when I realized I had some gifts. I was unique. And I've always felt like the weird kid, like I was, like I said, I was different. And then and also growing up, I rode horses and stuff. I was a huge horse advocate, and horses, same thing, were always drawn to me. I always seemed to know what they wanted. So yeah, so after my mom passed away, I ended up getting this dog. She's now 10 years old. She's my best friend. And she kind of helped me start my new life. I went from working food service jobs to become working then at a pet store as a cashier. And that's when I learned I knew a lot about animals from all my watching. And then I moved out to Washington State because my brother was living out here. So I wanted to be closer with family and became a dog groomer. And then I noticed once again, I started feeling this pull that animals were really connected. And I started seeing all these numbers, like these random 777 and 333 and 222. And I realized there's something into this. And I was also trying to find friends who were like me. And after you've been through a lot of personal tragedies, it's kind of hard to find friends that can relate. I became friends with certain people and they just didn't understand what I've gone through. And so then I thought, well, let me try to find some spiritual friends because that's what I did in Ohio. And I started going to these different events and I came across a lady named Mary Beckman, very gifted psychic medium, very gifted healer. And she says, Kelly, you're very gifted. And I said, yeah, people said I could do this and I could talk to animals and other things. And she says, yeah, she's like, I've only known 3 other people like you who could do this. And she gave me stepping stones of places to meet. That's where I went to other intuitive events and I met people. And that's where I met you, Pam, through Blue Moon Fair. And that's when I got the push to do readings and talk to animals and connect with them and help people understand it. And I've also started to learn I do more than the animals. What they according to my records, the Akashic records, they say I'm a divine communicator, so I can hear everything. I can talk to trees, I can talk to other beings, but animals are my specialty. And actually, you're not the only one that's called me a doctor, the real life Dr. Doolittle, and that's what I finally called myself. And it did take me a long time to really accept what I'm hearing and feeling, because like I said, I grew up in a household where this stuff wasn't encouraged. And being the black sheep of the family, my family, they don't understand me. They still don't. And I've been on this amazing healing journey from going to severely depressed, borderline suicidal, to finally healing and feeling great. And especially these last 2 years, I've done a lot of healing and releasing, and now I'm a whole different person. And really, within the last week, my higher self has taken over. Now I have a new higher self that's come in because I'm now on this path of being who I truly am. And I'm at this point, I don't care. And I don't care what people think and see. And my aunt and uncle are coming to visit this summer. And I was a little nervous, but I realized it's time to be me. And if they don't like it, it's their problem, not mine. Because it's really, they don't because I've healed so much, it makes them reflect how much different. And also I've learned too, I'm a starseed and light worker. My guides have shown me how I got to this planet and who I am. So I'm kind of a galactic elemental changeling too. I've seen myself as an elemental many, many times in other lifetimes and stuff. And I know I've been other animals in other lifetimes. And so I'm that more and more is opening up to me of who I really am. So it makes sense of why I don't fit in with my my regular family, which is a common thing I find in a lot of us light workers and starseeds, that we're all a bit unique.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I'm so glad you're here. And that was a mouthful.
Yeah. And that's the short version of it, because it's been a huge coming to things and so much is opening up. And I also like to do this work because I like to help others show that what it can be like if you heal. That's why I'm drawn to do this work. And I do it through animals, because animals are guides and teachers. They're here to help us. And I've known, and my animals have helped me in so many different ways. And I always say now, looking back, if I didn't have horses and ride, I don't know if I would have made it to this point. So I'm very grateful for my animals. So in my way, it's me giving back to the animal kingdom and helping them out. Because I even thought about doing more than just animals and just inside, but the animals are like, no, you're our voice. You need to continue with that work.
Absolutely. Well, today is an opportunity for those of you who are watching this show and listening, for you to actually talk to Kelly yourself, and she can talk to your pets. So, or those that maybe it's not necessarily a pet of yours, but an animal that you're really connected to. This is the person that you want to talk to today. So our phone lines are open. It's 1-800-930-2819. We totally encourage you to call. Don't be shy. We are safe people. This is a safe venue to actually get yourself heard and get support for who you are on this planet, because we all need each other. So,
yep. And if you have a question about something else, I can answer that too. And animals don't have to be physically present. I usually request a picture, but it's not required. I just feel into the energy. How I do it, why I do it, I can't tell that. I can't explain that to you. I just know I can.
Great. So here's a question that came up because I don't currently have any physical pets, but I did. So can you connect in with pets that have passed on?
Yes, yes, all the time. And actually,
Beautiful.
I find a lot of time, that it's just as they say, and animals are interesting because they don't see death like we do. They're not afraid of it like we are, and they see it as more of a part of life. Like I've done a couple readings where the animal had passed and I didn't know, and they talked to me just like a normal animal. And sometimes we get asked how they passed because usually they're still around in spirit form. They don't see the difference, especially cats, especially. The cats are probably the hardest to read whether they passed over or not, because they don't see much of a difference. And cats, I find, are much more spiritual beings than we are. All animals are, but cats especially. I love talking to both my cats, my younger cat and my older cat, because I've learned so much about the spiritual world. And I also find a lot of times they do reincarnate and come back in different forms. My older cat and my dog have been with me at least twice in this lifetime, and they do remember who they are. They remember all that stuff. And as my cat tells me, they don't have time. We have like 50, 60, 70 years, our lifespan, to figure out who we are. Where animals, they don't have that time. They only have compares a short time, but they do come back over and over again. So
Interesting. Interesting. Okay, great. So another way for you to connect in if you are a little shy and you don't want to talk to us, you can actually write into the chat on Transformation Talk Radio. We're live right now, so if you just tune into that, you can find somewhere in there is a chat line, and you can type in your question or comment or need. And we've got a beautiful producer, Emily, that is here that will let us know your question or your comment or your need. So tell us, Kelly, about what is an elemental?
elemental is like a fairy type being. That's the best way to describe it. And it's kind of like a big category. I mean, your fairies, gnomes, Sasquatch, unicorns, certain types of dragons, sirens, mermaids, all are in the elemental realm. Um and they live anywhere. It doesn't matter if you live in the city or if you live in the woods. Of course, more certain areas have more elemental energy than others. I live in an area called Sudden Valley, which is 2 hours north of Seattle, and there's a lot of old growth trees. The elementals are everywhere, and there's a lot of Sasquatch energy. So you walk around, you always feel like you're being watched, and even deer are part of that realm. And I found, since living here for the past 2 years, a lot of the deer aren't really deer. I've actually seen the horns come up, like the unicorn horns. Coming to one of the deer actually showed me. It was really cool. Like all the deer know me, and they look at me like, you're different. And if I say like they know like I'm not a normal human, they know like they're like, you're not human. Like they're like kind of questioning, and it's really fun to talk to them too, because I've learned a lot about their culture and their life and how they do things. And but she was a doe was standing between these two trees in this area, and she showed me the horn. I was like, wow, that's really cool. And she's like, well, you're ready to see it. And that's been really fun. And elementals are kind of the guardians and protectors of this realm. A lot of them, and I say a lot of us, I keep feeling like channeling, are not from this planet. We've come from Syrian and Palladian planets, to here to help. And we're also here to bring in, well, I'm totally channeling them right now too, because I am
That's
definitely
great.
one of them. But we're here to help humanity and help grow. And a lot of us do it through animals. So, because animals are the easiest way for people to understand. Even people who are beginning to wake up, a lot of times they'll come to me first for a reading, because then it's safer to come talk to me and stuff like that. So
That's great. That's awesome. So, um, actually, what would be great, and I was told to do this, is that Akasha was my cat that we had, David and I, and our child, who is now Nova, used to be Sarah Rose when we had Akasha. Um, um, and she was like very awake. We felt like when she was with us, but she passed, and she she was with my mother-in-law, and when we moved out, she was with two other cats. Then she disappeared, and so we don't really know how she died. We never have, but often I'll see little remnants like, oh, I think I see something over there. So that would be something that would be valuable for me. as a human, but also it would be helpful for people to hear. So how does she do a reading? If you're willing
So
to do that quickly.
yeah, so how I do it is if I don't have a picture, I just kind of feel the energy and I say what comes through. And for Akasha, I feel like she says I'm still around. And what she's kind of showing me is she left you. She says it's nothing personal, but I had to go be with another family because they needed her more at that
Mm,
time. And that was part of she says it was part of the assignment because I say our animals are guides or teachers. They have rules, they have regulations, and sometimes and cats do this probably more than any other animal. They'll wander off and never be seen again. And they always say it's nothing personal, but they had someplace else to go. And
mm,
or sometimes if it's time for them if they feel like they're going to be more beneficial on the other side, they'll find a way to cross over. And that's the thing I've seen a lot of animals do. They will kind of take themselves out on purpose for whatever reason. And like I said, they're not afraid of it. I was driving home once, I saw a deer on the side of the road that had been hit. I was like, oh, it's so bad. And the deer said, no, it's actually okay. There was something wrong inside me and it was going to be a painful death. So instead I put myself in front of a truck and it was a lot easier versus being suffering. And so that's also another thing animals will do. They will, and I've actually heard stories of other animals being sympathetic. I have a friend that has a horse farm and a cat had gotten hit by a car or something, was hurt and walked in front of the horses. Actually, one of the horses stepped on the cat to kind of end the cat. And you think, oh my God, that's terrible. But really it was actually a mercy kill because the horse understood like, hey, I'm going to make you feel better. And it's a message for us to not be afraid that if the animals aren't afraid of it, there's really nothing to fear. And yeah, your cat is still around. And I feel like she's going more with your daughter, your Nova, I think, and that's where it's like, and she's kind of waiting to come back at some point, but it's when they're ready. They said the person's not quite ready yet, but it's getting
interesting.
very, very close. And they don't have to come back as cats, they can come back as other things as well. And it
Okay.
doesn't matter what gender. Like best example is like my dog, my older cat were my pet rats. I had pet rats when I was in my 20s and my early 20s. And yeah, they both have come back. But now one's dog and one's a cat. So, and both are female, and now one of my cats is a male cat. So,
Interesting.
and actually, this is kind of funny. He told me when I realized it was her. It was her. I said that's interesting. You're a boy this time, and he said, well, because he said because I don't want to get knocked up. And I said he said and I've my cat's very blunt. I love talking to my older cat because he's just very straight to the point. And the reason he said that is because when I had my rats the first week I had her, she ended up being pregnant. A week later, I had 11 babies. And so he knew coming in as a male that was not going to happen. So that's why he chose that body. And he prefers a male body anyway. So
Interesting. So, I have a dear friend that is also been to our fairs together, who I'm still in connection with. Her name is Francie Daler,
Mhm.
and she loves animals. She loves being outside, and she sent me a picture. She'd love to get any information about her dog. And I don't know if you can see that dog.
Not really, but
I don't know how if I can get it. Can I get it bigger? Let's see. Can I get it any
well,
bigger?
you have
Here
my
we, here we go. Can
okay,
you see
okay.
that?
Yeah, I see that. Is the dog still alive?
Yes.
Okay. Trying to see. He's not saying a whole lot, but I kind of feel like the biggest thing is he's giving a message more for her that she needs to take more time for herself. And he says
Yes.
that whatever he's going through, it's kind of a reflection of her. That's what he's saying.
Oh, interesting.
And he's like, as I say, I'm just the messenger. And I also feel like, and I think this morning or something, he said, showed me he stepped on something that it might have, no, I don't think it's anything severe, but it's like he might have stepped on a rock or something because he's showing me his paw pads. One of his paws is little sore.
Okay. All right, good. So there you go, Francie. I know that that you love to listen. So any other messages that want to come through for Francie or her pets or any of her family is welcome.
The biggest I keep hearing over and over again is stop being afraid.
Hmm.
It's just when I say knock it off, like just stop being afraid. It was very firm, like knock it off, stop being so afraid.
Hmm.
So that's the biggest message.
Okay. All right. So, Francie, there's your message. Stop being afraid. And as we have talked together and we have been coaching together, your guides are right here. They are available to you. And any of you who are listening, your guides are here for a reason. Even if you don't know who they are, um, trust that they're there. They're waiting for you to connect. They're waiting for you to communicate. They can do a lot, but they need your permission. So if you want them to intercede on your behalf, you simply need to say, "Hey, guides, please help me." It's
Yeah.
as easy as that.
And I understand about being afraid. A lot of people are afraid right now because there's such chaos going on. And a lot of it is they want us to be afraid because we can't grow if we're afraid. And I get it. I'm on a path where I've been a dog groomer for 8 years. I've just stepped away from that. Actually, I lost my job 2 months ago because this is what I'm supposed to do. And it was actually my guide's way of pushing me out because I never would have left the job because I had this idea I had to have a regular job, but this is what I'm supposed to be pursuing. And there's part of me terrified. Can I do this? Can I afford this? But my guides keep saying, it's okay. It's going to work out. And I myself am still learning to step back and not worry so much. So
Excellent. Excellent. I'm so glad about that.
yeah. So, and
Okay.
it's scary. It's really, really scary. But I have to tell myself every time it's going to be fine. It's going to be great. And more recently, since I have stepped back more, things are coming in more flowing a lot easier. Even just last week, I got 2 people wanting readings before it was kind of quiet. So things are starting to fall in place because of that.
Yay!
But I'm a classic overthinker and I should know better. And I think you think after a while I would know better, but I still do it. So
You know what? As entrepreneurs and especially as light workers who are here to really shine our lights
mhm.
and give to the world our gifts, there are so like globally, like all across the board, we're all working through karma. We're
Yeah.
all working through karma. And karma has been running for lifetime after lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. I'm aware of this. So I have been given the gift of a process called an activation, a soul contract release and renegotiation, if you will, of new contracts, new agreements, new oaths that we can take to be able to let go of what's been and be able to now come into what's now. So if that's something that you need, guys, please let me know and we can take care of that. In the meantime, just know that we're working through karma. We have stuff running. We've got old patterns that are showing themselves that are saying, you're not worthy. You can't afford this. Whatever our context is that keeps us small is an automatic for human beings. So don't worry about it. Just be you, keep moving forward, listen to what's in front of you and keep going. So with that said, as you were thinking about today, what was the thing that came up right away? Like, oh, I want to make sure that I say this. I want to make sure that this comes across. This is really important for people to hear.
Um, that's a good question. I'm kind of thinking I kind of went blank just a second ago. I was gonna say something, but then my brain just like so I just keep hearing don't give up, keep going. And we're here to make a change and it's time to be who we really are and that it's safe. And I think for myself, I know from other lifetimes, I've been taken out many, many, many lifetimes for what I could do. You name it, it probably happened to me. I've been burned, I've been stabbed, I've been hung. And so I think that's why a lot of us are a little afraid to come out because we don't want that to happen. But a lot of people want us to come out. And especially I've noticed in the last year, probably the last 6 months when I do the fairs, I do a lot of the metaphysical fairs with my business and readings. And we're having a lot more people coming who are beginning to question things and they're coming in and they're asking a lot of questions and they come and they've gone to church, they've done other things and none of them's giving their answers. So they come find us weird woo-woo people that they made fun of all those years. And now they're coming in and they're asking these questions and they're finally getting the answers that they
Mhm.
wanted. And actually, what's one of my favorite things is I do my one of my favorite places to do fairs at this shop called Mystical Wares in Mount Vernon. If you're in Washington, it's a great shop and they have fairs, and we always have people come in, and you can always tell the ones who are not sure about why they're in there. They have their hands in their pockets, they're looking around like kind of like they're not sure, and they'll start
Yep.
and we're like, hi, how's it going? And I think they're surprised that we look so normal, like we're in t-shirt and jeans, and I think they have a different idea of what someone's supposed to look like. And I don't wear like the clothing that you think someone would wear, and we're very down to earth. And then they start talking to us, and we start sharing our stories, and they're like, huh. And I tell him like, and I tell him like, I questioned my gifts for a long time, and I didn't know I could do all this stuff. And I feel like a lot of us, we talk, actually me and my soul tribe, my friend Amaral and I talk about this a lot, how a lot of us woke up early so we could help others. And now that's why we're here. And that's why we came here. And actually, I actually had a vision of myself, at drum circle last week where, I was in the ocean swimming. I was a whale, and I got the call to come into this life. I think originally I wasn't supposed to be human in this lifetime, but something shifted, something happened, and I got recruited. So I came
Nice.
and it was actually really cool. I'm also a siren. I've had more lifetimes in the water than I've had on land. And that's also another reason why some of the deer look at me funny, because they're like, what are you doing out of water? But anyway, that's a whole nother thing. And for me to finally say that and not be like, that's weird. Why would you say that? Don't embarrass yourself. I'm not worried about it anymore. And even there's some people who probably don't, I know they don't believe what I can do and see. And I sound like a crazy person. I admit, some of the stuff we talk about, we sound insane to the people who aren't used to this kind of stuff. And I realize it's my truth. It's what I've seen. And
Mhm.
I've seen way too much and experienced way too much to say it's not real. I know it's real. It's my truth. But I also know that a lot of people aren't ready for that. And it is kind of scary at the beginning. And we've also been programmed to be scared of ghosts and aliens and fairies. And there's all these stories how don't eat the food, don't talk to fairies, all this stuff. And a lot of it's actually not true. And
Mhm.
a lot of the beings, even sirens, the whole dragging them into the water to drown, that's not true. That never happened. It was just a narrative that they created to keep us asleep. They don't there's some forces I feel like they don't want us to wake up. They don't want us to be here, which is also why they put us in what they say lower vibrational families to kind of keep us hidden, because we were supposed to be here. So
Interesting. Interesting.
yeah, at least that's what my guides have shared with
That's
me.
that's beautiful. So here's an maybe this is an out of the norm question for you, but I'm the interviewer here, so I can
Yeah.
take liberties.
Yeah.
So here's a question. Okay. Now, when we first got on, I noticed, okay, the fairies were doing their dance up here. So now my question is, what's going on with this view here? And are there any beings that are around here that you're noticing?
You have
That,
a lot of beans. You have a lot of beans. I feel some galactic ones have come in
okay.
particular. I keep hearing Arcturian. They kind of come in and check things out, and they're here to, because I work with a lot of the galactic beings. And like I said, the last 2 years, especially living where I'm at in Sudden Valley, I can see the ships. I see them all the time. I feel their energy. I'll sing light language outside at night, and I'll see them flash. And I went out the last week to take my dog out at like 10:30. It was really dark out, and I saw there's all these like ships. And I know it sounds crazy. They just look like stars. And to the untrained eye, you don't think much of it. But I look, I'm like, oh, I know there's a ship. And there was actually one above, close to where a really good friend of mine, Wizard Azanon. I know you know who he is. And I texted him like, hey, there's a ship above your house. Are you guys having a gathering that I don't know about? And he joked around. He's like, oh, just our alien meet and greet on Saturday. And I cracked up.
That's awesome.
But there's just something when we both felt it, like this whole area, and there's just something unique and special about it.
Hmm.
And all the time. And that's where like I learned just to trust it. And that's where like a lot of the galactic beings also want me to be a voice saying, hey, don't be scared of us, don't pay attention to aliens and Independence Day and all that stuff, because that's just to keep you scared. There are some beings who are not good. I'm not going to say they're all wonderful and great, but majority of them are fine and they're here to help us. I mean, if they really wanted to hurt us, they would have done so already.
Yeah.
So,
So this is the way, those of you who are listening about that, okay? The way that I deal with that phenomenon of, oh, they're not all great. I only allow love and light into my space. Okay. That is your ability. You, as a sovereign human being on this planet, you get to say, this is what I will allow, this is what I won't allow. Okay. I do not allow my vessel inside of me, nor my surroundings, to have anything other than love and light. Okay.
right.
So when I state that, it's actually a command. Okay. As the sovereign being that I am, that is the sovereign one with the one, get to say, this is what I allow in my space.
Yeah.
So with that, I get to trust whatever my experience is. Okay. So when I hear Kelly say, oh, you've got a lot of galactic beings behind you in this beautiful scene of the forest, I can trust that. Okay.
Yeah.
This is where trust comes in,
Mm-hmm.
where you, who are the onlooker of this program, but the onlooker in your own life, get to say, can I trust this person over here? Can I trust this situation? Is it okay if that's going on, even if I don't know what it is? Well, you're at choice. I find that the more that I trust, the better my life is.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's another thing I keep feeling to add. Well, that's also where your animals come in too. Your animals are, and I have crystal guards around my house, so I'm always protected and I have a lot of stuff. But your animals do act as your guides and guardians. They are your guardians, especially cats. One of the reasons cats are usually up at 3 in the morning and they're walking around and doing the zoomies, what they're actually doing is putting up a barrier around your house so nothing can comes in. There's actually a lot of lore already about cats and spirits and everything, but a lot of that is actually really is true. And that's something cats have told me, that they protect us, they keep things away. So
So I wore this shirt and was told to show you. This is the Queen Bee shirt.
yeah.
Okay. And she's now a guardian for me, but she's also me. So what I was told is, Pam, it's okay for you to claim that as the CEO of your business, Bright Butterfly Enterprises.
Yep.
And so now I'm doing that. And what I also realized with that is I now have a team that gets to work with me and for me for my business. How did this happen? Because I asked.
Yeah.
I asked my guides to send me people that could hold this vision called my business and help me to bring it into form and into the way that I want it to be in the world.
Yeah.
So now I have this. So I get to claim my beehood, my queen beehood. But I also was told to ask you about this phenomenon of the queen bee and the bee population.
Well, bees are great. Bees are such amazing creatures. Actually, the bee is actually one of my totems as well. And I think that's actually about being who you are. Mary Beckman has a code, is your I can't remember what it's called, is your true person. It is actually a bee. And bees are such a great little beings, and they're kind of messengers and guides and guards, and they're the perfect example of don't listen to what science tells you, because if you read his, like, scientifically they shouldn't be able to fly because of the way their anatomy is built, but they can do it. It's like bee says, screw you, I'm gonna do what I want, kind of thing. So, and it's also for myself, as like I'm also kind of building an army. Like I'm starting this business, Elementales, which is my logo and business, Intuitive Animal Services, and I'm beginning this adventure where I offer intuitive. I've been offering intuitive readings, but I do healing for animals and people together, and I do that because our animals do take on our stress and anxiety, and that's what I want to help with. And so, if you're ever interested in a service for me, like not only do I read your pet and I ask what your guides want to bring in, I kind of combine everything, because for me that's just the easiest way to do it, because every time I read a pet, your other things would come through and vice versa. So I just combined those two. And so that's my business. And I'm on this new adventure. Like I said, I've been grooming dogs for 8 years, which also kind of helps me because I know a lot about the dog breeds. So I can help each one. Each one has different things and different energies. And eventually I want to help people help find the pets that they want they need to have and teach classes on animal communication and other things. Because I know that I keep getting this push to be a teacher. Every time I'm with somebody or out somewhere, my guides say it's teaching or school. And I know that's like that nudge, like, hey, this is where you need to go next. And I also see myself eventually traveling and doing like going to the dog grooming shows and helping other groomers talk to animals and do other things and help bridge that gap.
That's beautiful. That's really important. Well, and I know that there are so many people that have pets that they would love to know what they're thinking and how to communicate with them and all of that. So that's a really vital role to
Yeah.
be
And
playing.
animals are far more aware than people realize. And that's one thing I always thought as a kid, they're just as smart as us. They just think differently. And especially like, and I've learned from my own animals. I have a dog and 2 cats. I have a Labrador Retriever that's 10, and I have a cat. I have one cat that's almost 18. He's been with me for 17 years. And I have another one that's just a little over a year old. And it's really great. In each one of them, I learned so much. My dog constantly talks to people, and she's really good at manipulating people in a funny way, where she'll get people to bring her toys and treats and food. And she does it so easily. And that's part of her thing, is to show me how she's even astral traveled into someone's dream to get so that they would buy her a sweater. She's not a sweater person, but she saw another dog wear it, and she's very specific of what she wants, and she gets people to do it. It's amazing to see how well she does it. If like you're coming to my house and I tell her someone's coming over, a lot of times they'll bring toys and treats for her because they feel this urge all of a sudden. And my neighbor came over once to let her out and felt this urge to feed her, and she only gets 1 cup of food for her meal. Somehow this lady kept feeling like she needed to give her 2 cups, which I knew was my dog asking for it. And then my friends that live in this neighborhood, every once in a while they'll drive by my house and they'll hear, can you tell mom to take me swimming, please? And I know it's my dog. And then my older cat, he's helped me a lot with my newest thing I've been doing, which are the Akashic readings. I'm also doing Akashic record readings. I've learned that I can do that. And he showed me when we go to your rooms, and I do as a guided meditation for anybody who's interested. And we go to your room and we pick out one of your records. And a lot of times your animals come too, and they show us like what your animals were in other lifetimes. My older cat has been a Japanese man. We were shamans together in a village, and he showed me that. And then my younger cat, Luna, this is the first time she's been in a physical body in this lifetime. So she's showing me what it's like in this. So that's been really interesting, but she's more magical in a lot of ways. And just to look at her, there's just something different about her. But yeah, so that's one thing I really love is how much our animals teach us.
That's great. That's perfect. So it occurred to me that what would be helpful in the last few minutes that we have is, so people know to connect to you
Mhm.
if they want a reading from you.
Mhm.
But what if, like, dog owners, cat owners, whatever animal they have, they really want to connect in with them. And they're like, okay, Kelly's not here, or I can't afford Kelly, or I don't know if I want a reading yet, but I want to know how to give my pet what it needs, to know what it needs, how to do that. Do you have some tips or
Yeah.
some ideas of how to do that?
Well, animals talk to us telepathically. That's how I hear them. Like I'm talking to you, but a voice in my head. And especially animals that live with us, dogs and cats, they do know our language. And so a lot of times people do understand our animals. They just second guess themselves. And that's what I did. I second guess myself a lot because it just sounds like a normal sentence. And so if you're talking to like, for example, if you're going to a pet store and you have a picky eater, hone in what you feel like you should get that animal. That's what I do when I pick out cat food. And also, if you ever gone in the kitchen, all of a sudden feel this need to give your dog bacon, that's your animals talking to you. And they do it all the time. And I've seen it enough. And so, yeah, and even if you're not physically with your pet, if you have a pet that passed and you want to connect with, look at that image and think of what the feelings that come through. And if you can't hear what they're saying, think of the feelings and emotions. Or if you have this urge, like to do something with them, go do it and honor that. If your dog asks for something simple like a cookie, start giving that cookie. When they realize that you can hear them, they're going to start asking for more and more. So
That's perfect. That's perfect. So actually, that is a really wise thing to know about the way that we can listen. Our guides are not going to speak through a human voice necessarily. Sometimes they do. Sometimes we know that angels come through physical form, right? There are earth angels that exist. But if you want to know what thing to do, what action to take, how to know who you are or what to do next, take a breath and listen. Often I will do this so that I can connect in with my heart, because my heart is my brain. Okay, they're totally connected. When I go here, I know that I'm listening. Okay. And then I ask a lot of questions. That's the other recommendation is ask a lot of questions to receive the answers that you're looking for. Another way is to write. Start writing. If you aren't comfortable with a pen and paper, get your typewriter or your computer and just start typing on a doc, right? A Google Doc or a Word document. Start typing. Ask questions, receive the answers. That's another way to connect. So in the last few minutes, if people want to find you, how do they do that?
I'm working on a website right now. I'm in the process,
Yay!
but it's been kind of a slow going. Just go to Facebook. I do have a Facebook page, and if you post this on YouTube, I'll put a link underneath where to find me as well in case anybody needs it. But this is my business, Element Tales. So if you go to Facebook, just type in Element Tales, look for the logo.
Perfect.
This is my custom logo. I'm very proud of it. And then you can message me and we can set something up. I also do have an email and all that stuff. Like I said, I'll put all the information in the comments once this gets posted. You can message me if you're in the Washington area, like northwest of Seattle. I do fairs and stuff like that too, where I offer readings. And when I'm at a fair, I give a little bit of a discount too, because people are coming to see me. So that's where you can reach out. And it doesn't matter where you are in the world, I can connect with you. That's the beauty of technology and Zoom. And even the healings. I also do crystal healings. I'm a big crystal advocate, and I'm a crystal healer and a sound healer. And I have like tons of like rocks and crystals all around me and stuff. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I did a session with somebody who had a cat that was overwhelmed, and I in Ohio, and was able to get the cat. So it doesn't matter where you are in the world. I can do
Perfect.
anything.
That's perfect.
As you see here, I was able to connect with Pam, even though we're probably 2 hours away. I was still able to hone in on her cat. So
yep, that's perfect. So let's see. Okay. I just went back to your cat who is an elemental. And I was told to ask you, does your cat have any message for the collective?
gosh, she's saying just be open. You just be open and trust what you're hearing and seeing, and stop doubting yourself. There's a lot of people doubting what they hear and feel, and she's also saying there is real magic in the world. And actually, I feel that's Luna. Actually, she's my elemental, and she's mad. She's also really mad because I kicked her out of the room here because I didn't want her to get distracted. But she's saying there is real magic in the world, and that we're here to help. Don't be afraid of us. And if you're walking the woods and you feel our energy, don't be afraid. And I keep feeling this too. Sasquatch wants to come in. I have a lot of Sasquatch buddies here, and they're like, don't be afraid of us. We're friendly. One of he says, remember Harry and the Hendersons? That's us. That's exactly what he said. And just stop being afraid, stop listening. And even that's the biggest message, stop being afraid. There's nothing to be afraid of, that they're here to help us. And a lot of us are those beings just in disguise. I myself am one of them. So
that's awesome. That's great. So yeah, those of you who feel like, oh my God, I'm still in fear, I don't know how to get rid of it. Let's just get rid of it. Okay. Here's the thing. It's going to come and it's going to go. All right. You're not going to be in fear all the time, 24/7. Okay. If that's you, get yourself some help, please. There are a lot of people. There's doctors, there's psychiatrists, there's counselors, there's coaches, there's Oh my God, there's crystal beings right here that can help you, okay? You don't need to keep all of that inside and stored up, okay? So in these last couple seconds here, just take that fear, locate it in your body. Where is it? Is it in your stomach? Is it in your heart? Is it in your head? Is it in your groin? Is it in your feet? Where is it? Imagine that your hands can go and just grab it and pull it out. Pull it out from your body. Okay? And then throw it away. And then ask your guides, teachers, and angels to please come in now and replace that fear with golden light. E sunukuche namaki ambabayetu. Anazedeki na mama inenu nasia. There we go. If you want more of that, guys, then contact me at brightbutterflynetwork.com because I can give you more of that kind of work. We are both channels. We both are psychic. We can connect in with whatever you need anytime. Kelly is superb at what she does. So please contact her. If you're like, I don't know, I don't have a way to type anything in or remember anything, just contact Transformation Talk Radio or contact me and I'll get you the information, okay? So Kelly, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much. And I'm so happy to be here. This was fun.
Yay! And I can't wait to see what you do next. It's awesome. Keep going.
This is just the beginning. Doors are opening and this is just the beginning. So
it really is. It really is. And if you guys want to connect to me, you know where to find me. If you want to be on the show, I'm available for you as well. We'd love to have you as our special guest. So many blessings to you. Have a beautiful day, guys. Bye, Kelly.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Empower Me Show with Pam Bright on Transformation Talk Radio. Tune in to learn more about living a fully empowered life. Remember that your life is up to you and you can choose the spiritual path you are on. There is spiritual energy and wisdom in everything and everyone around you. Listen carefully for what the universe is trying to tell you in every moment. You are already being guided along your journey. Call upon your spirit guides anytime you need help with anything. Know that you are safe in every moment, even if it seems that you are not. For more information about Pam Bright, visit brightbutterflyenterprises.com or email theempowermeshow@gmail.com. Thank you very much for listening. We hope to see you next week.